Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. I mulled over the college entrance exam score estimation. I estimated my score at 699, while the school beauty I secretly admired scored 698. He refused to accept defeat. He cornered me at the entrance to the boys' bathroom, challenging me to a bet. I asked what we were betting on and he said 1 point higher than you. If I win for 3 months this summer, you're under my command. I countered, asking what if I scored 1 point higher than him. His face flushed red. He choked out that if I scored 1 point higher, had let me hold his hand for 2 points, had let me hug him for 3 points. He bit his lip. For a long moment he couldn't speak. I chuckled. He had no idea I'd forgotten to account for a major question worth points. At the post-exam teacher appreciation banquet, the private room buzzed like a chaotic marketplace. A bunch of monkeys just released from a cage, howling wildly, declaring we wouldn't return until we were drunk. I huddled in a corner, silently nursing my drink. Suddenly, a whiff of fragrance brushed past me. The person who sat down was Yubaiwe, our school's renowned beauty, the epitome of pure elegance. The boys chasing her could line up from the school gate to the second ring road, but her standards were impossibly high. She looked down on everyone. I'd been secretly in love with her for 3 years. Aside from my few close buddies, no one else knew. When Yubaiwe spoke, her voice was clear and cool, just like her demeanor. My mouth was stuffed with meat. I mumbled a vague response. I heard you scored 699. My heart skipped a beat. Only our class teacher and a few close advisors knew. How did she know too? I nodded, staying silent. She said softly that she scored 698, but her tone carried an unyielding spirit. I was starving my whole life. I kept piling food on my plate. My aloof attitude seemed to provoke her. She grabbed my chopsticks, demanding, "You only beat me by 1 point. What's there to be smug about?" I couldn't help but laugh and cry. "I'm not smug, big sister." She asked if I dared to make a bet with her. Her eyes sparkled brightly, like stars ignited with fire. My interest was piqued. I asked what we were betting and she leaned closer, lowering her voice. Her warm breath tickled my ear. It felt a bit itchy, and she proposed betting on our exam scores. If she scored higher than me, even by just 1 point, this summer I'd have to obey her. Whatever she asked, I'd have to do. She paused, adding that it wouldn't be anything illegal. I grinned. This bet was intriguing. I asked what if I scored higher than her. I pressed back. Yubaiwe's fair cheeks flushed red instantly. She choked, as if summoning great resolve. If I scored 1 point higher than her, she stared that shed let me hold her hand. My heart raced instantly. She avoided my gaze. Her eyes darted nervously, but her voice grew firmer, saying for 2 points, she'd let me hug her. For 3 points, she bit her lower lip. Her ears turned completely red. Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's hum. She'd let me kiss her. After saying it, she seemed to exhaust all her strength. She grabbed the watermelon juice on the table and gulped it down. Watching her like this, my heart bloomed with joy. Little one, trying to play this game with me. After the final exam subject, I was so excited, checking answers. The last physics question worth a full 6 points. I completely forgot to include in my estimate, which meant my baseline score was 6996705. She had 698, so I was at least 7 points ahead. Hand holding, hugging, kissing. This deal was a steal. I cleared my throat, pretending to be calm. I asked what if I scored for points higher. Yubaiwe choked on her watermelon juice, coughing until her face was bright red. She glared at me, as if she thought I was delusional. If I could beat her by 4 points. She took a deep breath, like she was throwing caution to the wind, saying she'd be under my command for the summer. I slapped my thigh, afraid she'd back out. A gentleman's word is as binding as a 4-horse chariot. After she spoke, it was as if she'd completed a grand and arduous task. She turned and walked away. Her retreating figure carried a hint of tragic heroism. My buddies crowded around, grinning mischievously, saying, "Ongsh, not bad." even daring to flirt with the school beauty. What flirting? This is a man's romance. I smugly shook my head, as if I could already see you byway. Admitting defeat before me, my buddy FEI nudged me. But seriously, aren't you afraid of crashing and burning? You byway's a top student. What if she underestimated her score too? I scoffed. Impossible. You don't know her. She's meticulous in everything. Precise like an old scholar with score estimation. She'd calculate to decimal places. She couldn't possibly mess up. My 6-point lead was rock solid. I raised my glass and drained it. This summer was destined to be anything but dull. The day after the bet was made, I started to regret it. Not the bet itself, but that I hadn't set clearer terms. What if reneged? The more I thought, the less secure I felt. Yu Baiwei seemed gentle and quiet, but deep down she was anything but. She wouldn't make this bet over a mere point. Just like that, I pulled out my phone, opened her rarely used WeChat profile. It was still her military training photo. Her in oversized camouflage, bare-faced, yet outshining the other girls by a mile. I hesitated for ages. Typed out a line about yesterday's bet. It still counts, right? Sent it and it sank into silence for a minute. 2 minutes, 10 minutes passed. Just when I thought she'd ghost me, my phone buzzed. Yu Baiwei sent a single question mark dripping with aloofness. I hurried to clarify about the bet. Yu Baiwei, you trying to back out? No way! I'm just worried you'll back out. Silence from her end. A full 5 minutes later, she replied, Yu Baiwei, relax. Yu Baiwei, keep my word. But are you ready to be my servant this summer? Followed by a smug emoji. I grinning. She's confident. Well, see. Hope you don't cry when the time comes. Yu Baiwei, ha, another single word. The ultimate conversation killer. I set my phone down. The weight in my heart finally lifted. As long as she doesn't renege, I'm good. The next few days drag on aimlessly, without the pressure of studies. I felt like a boneless husk. Nothing sparked my interest. Until a few days later, our class group chat exploded. The class monitor posted a link. News about early admissions and arts recruitment. Someone tagged Yu Baiwei goddess. Did you apply for the early batch at Communication University? I heard their broadcasting program only admits a handful nationwide, with insanely high academic requirements. My heart stirred. Yu Baiwei as a host. I hadn't heard that. She's definitely camera ready. Her voice is lovely, cool with a hint of sweetness. She'd be a star as a host. Soon Yu Baiwei responded, Yu Baiwei, no. I didn't apply for early admissions. Someone else asked, then where's the goddess applying? Tsinghu or Peking? Yu Baiwei, haven't decided. I'll wait for the scores. Her reply was watertight. But I sensed something unusual. In her words, no early admissions. I vaguely recalled overhearing at the office door her talking to the class teacher about bonus points. I hadn't paid attention then, but now my heart sang. What were the bonus point categories for the exam? She didn't do Olympiads. The outstanding student bonus was long gone. Could it be suddenly I remembered something? During our freshman year cultural festival, Yu Baiwei wore her ethnic attire. Stunningly beautiful. But I forgot which ethnic group. Maybe Tujia or something. I rushed to search exam bonus policies. When minority bonus appeared, my head buzzed. I typed Tujia exam bonus into the search. The page loaded per the latest policy. Minorities in Han-dominated areas get 5 bonus points. Those in minority regions get 10 or 20 points. I had no idea where Yu Baiwei's family was from, but whether 5 or 10 points, it was a disaster for me. My rock-solid 6-point lead suddenly felt precarious. If she got 5 points, her total would be 6985703. Mine was 6996705, still 2 points ahead. The bet would downgrade from a kiss to a hug, not bad. Still a win. But if she got 10 points, 698,10708, while I'd max at 705, I'd be 3 points behind. No kiss, no hug. Not even a hand to hold. I'd be her servant for the entire summer. My hands started trembling. Cold sweat dripped down my forehead. I was done for, totally screwed. I'd fallen into a trap. That moment it felt like the sky collapsed. Yu Baiwei's confident, triumphant look flashed in my mind again. She wasn't reckless. She had a real ace up her sleeve. I slumped in my chair, my mind blank. No, I couldn't just give up. I had to find out how many points she'd get. 5 points or 10. It was the difference between heaven and hell. Who could I ask? Asking Yu Baiwei directly was out. That'd be admitting defeat. Her close friends. I wasn't tight with them. After much thought, I zeroed in on our class teacher, Old Wong. Old Wong was warm-hearted. We got along well. Most importantly, exam registrations and bonus materials went through him. And no, I made an excuse, saying I needed advice on college applications, and called Old Wong. After some small talk, I casually mentioned Teacher Wong. Any classmates getting bonus points this year? Old Wong chuckled on the other end of course. Yu Baiwei, minority status 10 bonus points. That girl always quiet, but she surprises at critical moments. 10 points, me voice trembled. 10 points, so her estimated 698 is actually 708. With that score, she could pick any university nationwide. Old Wong was still gushing. I didn't hear a word after that. Only 2 numbers swirled in my head. 708. 10 points, he was done. Completely finished. Hanging up, I felt drained. Kissing, hugging, hand-holding, all vanished like bubbles. What awaited me was a 12th dark servitude, thinking of Yu Baiwei's innocent face, and the bizarre demands she might make, like making me dance in a dress on the street, or writing her summer homework, though college has little homework, or shoveling poop for her family's big wolf dog all summer. I shuddered. The more I thought, the scarier it got. A WeChat notification pinged. I look at it, was Yu Baiwei. Yu Baiwei thought about how to serve your queen, followed by a little devil emoji. My vision darkened. She was already celebrating her victory. I gritted my teeth and replied, don't gloat. Yu Baiwei, oh, still not convinced. No worries. When the scores come out, you'll know despair. I could almost see her, laughing uncontrollably on the other end. No, I couldn't just give up. I Shen Nianen wouldn't take this lying down. I frantically recalled every detail of the exam. Was there any question where I might have overperformed? The Chinese essay. I wrote a standard argumentative piece. Decent enough for an average score. No chance of standing out. Mathy checked 800 times. Missed one multiple choice question. Lost 5 points. That was set in stone. English me level was average. Hitting 140 would be a miracle. Physics, wait, physics. I'd forgotten that last physics question. I only glanced at the answer key, felt my steps were correct, and the result was close enough. Assumed I'd get the full 6 points. That question was a comprehensive electromagnetic induction problem, with several parts, the last being open-ended, requiring an experimental design. Those questions have flexible grading. What if me design was unique, super creative, and the grader delighted gave me extra points. Though the odds were slim, this was my only lifeline now. I stared at my phone, opened Yu Baiwei's profile. Yu Baiwei. I typed, you'd better not celebrate too soon. Who wins or loses isn't set yet. Yu Baiwei, well, see. I set my phone down, let out a long breath. One thought in my mind, dear heavens, please, let that physics question earn me a few extra points. Even just 1-0. 2 points to win. I'm begging you. Waiting for the scores was pure torture. I lived each day in a state of mental chaos. One moment I was doomed, ready to be Yu Baiwei's servant. The next a spark of hope, maybe. Maybe that physics question would work a miracle. It was more agonizing than before the exam. Meanwhile, Yu Baiwei kept poking at me. Today little and bowed to your queen. Tomorrow this summer I'm learning to dive. You'll be my personal bag carrier. I'd grit my teeth and reply, dream on. Then she'd send a string of mocking laughs. I seriously suspected she'd already planned how to torment me for 2 months. Finally, the night before the score release, I didn't sleep a wink, tossing and turning like a pancake. At dawn, I dragged myself up, my eyes bloodshot. My buddies were more excited than me. They made a group chat named Witness the Miracle. or witness the miracle's demise? FEI neon and you alive. What time's the score check? Me 10 a.m. Fatty nervous or what? Exciting huh? Get lost at FEI. But seriously, I gripped my phone, heart pounding. Every second felt like an eternity. I whispered to myself, let it be enough. The moment of truth was near. My buddy asked if I'd settled with you byway on how to fulfill our bet. I froze for a moment. I realized I hadn't made plans yet and was just thinking about it. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Ubaiwe. Ubaiwe said to me at the school gate at 10 a.m. We'd check our scores together and settle the bet facetto face. No one could escape. I stared at the screen. Taking a deep breath, I thought, fine, let's do this. It felt like facing a public execution. I replied that I'd be there. After all, facing it hidden or hiding wouldn't change a thing. Either way, it was like facing the guillotine. In 18 years, I'd be a hero again. I dragged myself out of bed and got ready. I ate the champion's porridge my mom made. It felt like my last meal before the gallows. Half an hour before 10 a.m., I strolled to the school gate. The summer morning, sunlight already stung my eyes. The school gate was deserted, except for a few old men doing morning exercises. I found a shady spot and leaned against the wall. My heart was a jumble of nerves at 9:55. A white rideshare car pulled up by the road. The door opened. Ubaiwe stepped out. She wore a pale yellow dress today. Her long hair cascaded over her shoulders. A breeze swept by. Her skirt and hair fluttered together. She looked like the heroine of a movie. She spotted me and walked straight toward me. Her face showed no emotion, but her eyes held a flicker of smugness and tension she couldn't hide. She spoke first, noting my arrival. I nodded. We stood there, neither of us saying a word. The air, thick with awkward, tense anticipation. Time ticked by second by second. My heartbeat quickened. My palms began to sweat. Finally, 10 a.m. arrived. Ubaiwe pulled out her phone and glanced at me. She asked if I was ready. I nodded and unlocked my phone screen. I opened the score-checking website. I counted to 3 and we'd hit the query button together. She agreed, her voice trembling slightly, betraying the unease beneath her calm. So she was nervous too. That realization balanced my nerves a bit. On 2, I entered my exam ID and password. On 3, we both pressed the query button. The page began to load. The spinning wheel felt like the roulette of fate in my eyes. Heaven or hell? The answer was moments away. The loading wheel spun for a good 10 seconds. It felt like a century had passed. Finally, the page jumped. Rows of subjects and scores appeared clearly before my eyes. Chinese 130 to Math 140. English 140 for Science Comprehensive 295 total 711. I stared at that 711. My whole body went numb. 711, how could it be 711? Wasn't my estimate 699? Even with the 6-point physics question I forgot, it should only be 705. Where did these extra 6 points come from? Did they fall from the sky? I rubbed my eyes hard and looked again. No mistake, it was 711. A wave of joy hit me like a tidal wave. My mind went blank. I grinned like an idiot. I won't actually won. Ubaiwe's 10 bonus points gave her a total of 708. My 711 beat her by a full 3 points. 3 points, what did that mean? It meant I wouldn't be her servant. I whipped my head to look at Ubaiwe beside me. Her expression was even more dramatic than mine. She held her phone frozen, her eyes wide as bells, her mouth slightly agape, like she'd seen an alien. Her phone screen displayed her score. Total 708, just as old Wong said. Her estimate plus 10 bonus points exactly right. But she had the misfortune of facing me, a man who'd struck gold. The air was deathly silent. Only the rustle of leaves in the wind lingered. After a long pause, Ubaiwe seemed to come alive. She looked at her phone in disbelief, then at mine, back and forth several times. She muttered that it was impossible, her voice laced with confusion and reluctance. This absolutely couldn't be. How could I score 711? Wasn't my estimate 699? She snapped her head up, staring at me intensely. her eyes interrogating me like I was a criminal. Seeing her on the verge of tears, my smugness melted into a pang of sympathy, but I held back a laugh and cleared my throat. I apologized, saying I might have been too modest with my estimate. Modest! Yubaiwe's voice pitched higher, calling it modesty. She accused me of fraud. Her face paled with anger, calling me Shen Neon. She asked if I'd done it on purpose, if I'd known I'd score this high, and quoted a low score to trick her. I waved my hands, swearing on my conscience that I didn't. I just forgot to count a major question. She scoffed that one question couldn't account for 12 points. She clearly didn't believe me. I was puzzled too. I quickly checked the detailed physics scores and saw the last question. It wasn't worth 6 points. It was 12 and I got full marks. I swore I remembered clearly. In mock exams, similar questions. The final part was worth about 6 points. Why did it double for the real exam? Could the question format have changed this year? I handed her my phone, telling her to see for herself. I wasn't lying, the question was worth 12 points. Yubaiwe leaned over to look and deflated completely. The evidence was undeniable. She had no choice but to believe. She lowered her head, silent. Her long lash drooped, hiding the emotions in her eyes. She looked pitiful. I felt a twinge of guilt. Winning felt great, but seeing her so down made me uneasy. I opened my mouth to comfort her. Maybe say the bet was off, or that I'd be happy to be her servant. I'd enjoy it. But she suddenly looked up, her eyes red, calling out Shen Neonen. She gritted her teeth, saying I shouldn't think I'd won. Each word deliberate, she declared the bet still stood. Yubaiwe would honor her loss. I was stunned, looking at her, her stubborn face and teary eyes. All my comforting words stuck in my throat. She was serious. I suggested we call it off. Scratching my head, I awkwardly said it was just a joke. No need to take it seriously. She glared at me, asking who was joking. She snapped, Shen Neonen. Did I look down on her? Did I think she couldn't handle losing? No, absolutely not. I waved my hands. This girl was getting fiery. She took a deep breath, like she'd made a monumental decision. She stepped forward. The distance between us shrank to half a step. I could smell the faint scent of her shampoo. My heart started racing again. She said, per our agreement. Looking at me, her eyes darted away, unable to meet mine. A flush crept up her cheeks. She was 3 points below me, so she paused, her voice barely a whisper. I could kiss her. After saying it, she seemed to use up all her courage, quickly closing her eyes, her long lashes trembling, looking ready for whatever came. Seeing her like this, my blood rushed to my head. My gosh, this happiness was too sudden. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, dappling her face. Her skin was so fair, almost translucent in the light. I could see fine hairs. Her lips lightly pink, tightly pursed from nerves. I swallowed hard. My throat felt dry as smoke. Reason told me to be a gentleman, to say forget it, and walk away coolly. But the devil of desire screamed in my ear, go for it, what are you waiting for? This is Yubaiwe. A kiss would be worth a lifetime. My heart and mind battled for 3 seconds. Desire won over reason. Screw gentlemanly manners. I took a deep breath, slowly leaning toward her. My heart pounded like it would leap from my throat. Closer. I could feel her warm breath brushing my face, just as our lips were about to touch. Yubaiwe's eyes snapped open. A glint of mischief flashed in them. She said to wait, pressing her finger to my lips. Her move was swift and precise. I froze. I stammered, asking what she was doing. The corner of her mouth curved into a pretty arc. She blinked, her long lashes like tiny fans. Who said a kiss had to be lips on lips? She held up the finger I'd touched, waving it before me. I'd kissed her hand, and she'd touch her lips with that finger. Rounding up, it counted as my kiss. The bet was fulfilled. She grinned like a sly fox, sticking out her tongue at me, then turned and ran, leaving me stunned in the breeze. I'd been played. I touched my lips, glancing at her fleeing figure. Her yellow dress traced a bright arc in the wind. I laughed and sighed. How did her mind come up with that? Such a slick move, though I didn't get the real kiss. For some reason, I wasn't disappointed. Instead, my heart felt a bit sweet. The next few days, I was out of sorts. My mind kept drifting back to that moment at the school gate. Baiwei's sly smile, and her skirt fluttering as she ran, like a movie in slow motion, replaying in my head. My buddy FEI nearly died laughing when he heard. He said I was too naive. When it came to tricks, I was no match for Baiwei. I shot him a look saying he knew nothing. This was called charm. I said that. But deep down, I was a bit unwilling. Getting played like that. If word got out, where would I shen neon and put my face? I had to reclaim my pride. But the bet was settled. What excuse could I use? As I was fretting, my phone pinged. I picked it up. It was Baiwei messaging me. My heart skipped. But I kept my cool on the surface. I waited 5 minutes before casually replying. Baiwei asked if I was free this weekend. My heart bloomed. But my typing hand stayed honest, asking why. Did she want to treat me to dinner as an apology? Baiwei said I was dreaming. She'd found an awesome escape room. A horror-themed one. Did I want to go? Escape room. Horror-themed. My mind instantly pictured Baiwei screaming and diving into my arms. Hey, hey, hey! This was a golden opportunity. I suppressed my excitement. Pretending to be aloof, I said I'd think about it. Baiwei said to come or not. She'd find someone else, and I panicked saying no, I'd go. I asked for the address. Baiwei sent the address and time, followed by an OK emoji. I put down my phone and nearly jumped off my bed. This was like a pillow sent to a sleepy head. Baiwei, oh Baiwei. Did she think tricking me meant she was safe? This time I'd show her what it meant to invite Evolve into the den. On the weekend, I dressed up wearing a new shirt, styled my hair to look cool, and snuck a spritz of my father's cologne. But as I stepped out, my mom caught the scent. She teased that I was off to a date. My face flushed. I said it was a classmate gathering. My mom gave me a yeah right look. She pulled a few bills from her wallet and handed them to me, telling me to spend freely and to be proactive if I liked someone. I clutched the money, feeling warmth in my heart. At the escape room entrance, Baiwei was already there dressed casually. A white shirt with denim shorts, canvas shoes on her feet, her long hair in a high ponytail, looking youthful and sharp. She waved when she saw me, noting I was punctual. We walked in side by side. I sneakily took a deep breath. No mischievous scent today, just the fresh aura of a young woman. The escape room's theme was Silent Hospital. The name alone was creepy. As the staff explained the rules, I stole glances at Baiwei. She listened intently, her face expressionless. No hint of fear or otherwise. This girl's mental strength was impressive. The game soon began. They blindfolded us and led us into a pitch-black room. The door slammed shut behind us. The moment the blindfold came off, a cold, damp chill hit me. The room was dimly lit. I could barely make out the outlines. It looked like an abandoned ward. Peeling paint hung in strips. A bed draped in white cloth sat in the corner. The speakers crackled with static, and a woman's sobbing echoed. The atmosphere was instantly intense. I called out softly, saying I was here. Baiwei's voice came from my left. She sounded close and calm, not a trace of fear. I felt a twinge of disappointment, hoping to see her scared senseless. Wasn't going to be easy. We split up to search for clues. The room was small, but the props were eerily realistic. A rusted scalpel, gauze stained with unknown blood, and a scribbled medical chart. I flipped through the chart, glancing at Baiwei from the corner of my eye. She crouched by the cloth-covered bed, seeming to study something. Her focus was intense. I wondered what she'd found. My curiosity piqued as I watched her. Suddenly the room's lights flickered and went out. The entire space plunged into pitch-black darkness where I couldn't see my own hand. At the same time, the sobbing from the speakers turned into a piercing scream. A short, startled cry came from Baiwei's direction. Then I felt a soft body crash into my arms. In the darkness, I could clearly feel her trembling, her rapid heartbeat. She pressed herself against me, her hands tightly gripping my arms. I admit shamefully my heart skipped a beat. Just moments ago, I'd grumbled about her strong composure. Now, I wanted to give the NPC a medal. I whispered in her ear that there was nothing to fear, I was here. My voice seemed to offer her some comfort. Her grip on my arms loosened slightly. She still didn't leave my embrace. She asked with a quiver in her voice what that was just now. I reassured her it was all fake, just an NPC. While my heart bloomed with joy, the lights flickered back on. I looked down to see Yubaiwe burying her face in my chest, her long ponytail tickling my chin. She seemed to realize our awkward position. Her face flushed red instantly. She quickly pulled away from me. She apologized, saying it wasn't intentional. Lowering her head, she avoided my gaze. I suppressed a laugh, saying it was fine, pretending to be a gentleman. It's normal for girls to be scared. She didn't speak, her ears red enough to bleed. During the rest of the puzzle solving, Yubaiwe was like a different person. She stuck close behind me, following wherever I went, like a little shadow. Whenever a creepy sound played, or an NPC jumped out, she'd instinctively grab my shirt. Corner! I teased that her courage was too small, but inside I was thrilled. The feeling of her relying on me was pretty great. Under my brilliant leadership, we made it through to the final room. This room was set up like a director's office. The code to escape was hidden in a locked desk drawer, and according to the clues, the key was inside a half-human-sized teddy bear in the corner, sitting on a chair, its eyes to hollow buttons, grinning eerily. I'd have to reach into its stomach to get it. I told Yubaiwe, who glanced at the bear. Her face paled as she said she couldn't do it. I volunteered bravely, saying I'd handle it, striding over with a heroic air. Though inside I was unnerved, feeling like the bear might come alive and bite me. I reached into the teddy bear's cotton-filled stomach, groping around. Just as I touched a cold key, the bear's head suddenly spun 180 degrees without warning. Its hollow button eyes stared right at me. The speakers blared a sinister melody. Damn, even with mental preparation, I was scared out of my wits. I yanked my hand out. Yubaiwe behind me let out a scream that could pierce eardrums. Then, she did something I never expected, like a startled rabbit. Instead of hiding behind me, she wrapped her arms around my waist from behind, her face pressed tightly against my back. I froze. Was this her throwing herself into my arms? Even through 2 layers of clothing, I could feel her softness and racing heartbeat. My face burned red, redder than Yubaiwe's earlier. Now my heart was the one racing out of control. It felt like electricity shot through my back, tingling and itchy. Yubaiwe clung to me, shivering. She whimpered that the bear moved, her voice trembling, melting my heart. I cleared my throat, trying to sound calm. I said it was just a mechanism fake. While speaking, I used my free hand to pull the key from the bear's stomach. I waved the key in my hand. Yubaiwe cautiously peeked out from behind me. Seeing the key, she sighed in relief, but didn't let go. She urged me to hurry and unlock the drawer. I laughed, saying she was holding me. How could I move? She realized her grip. Her face flushed and she let go like she'd been shocked. I turned around, seeing her head bowed, her fingers twisting nervously in front of her, her face red as a ripe apple, her earlier fear now all embarrassment. I grinned inwardly, taking the key to the desk. I opened the drawer. Inside was a card with a string of numbers, likely the door's code. I picked up the card, walked to the door's keypad, entered the numbers. With a beep, the door opened and bright light streamed in, dispelling the room's eerie terror. We'd cleared it. The staff came over, congratulating us with smiles. Yubaiwe let out a long breath. Her whole body relaxed. She patted her chest, muttering that it scared her to death. Seeing her still shaken, I couldn't help laughing, saying, Yubaiwe, I didn't expect her to be so timid. She glared at me, her cheeks puffed out, saying it was none of my business. Far from intimidating, she looked adorable. We left the escape room as evening fell. The sunset painted the sky orange. We walked side by side on the sidewalk, neither speaking, but the vibe was different from before. Gone was the earlier tension and rivalry, replaced by an unspoken, ambiguous warmth. She broke the silence first, thanking me softly. I asked what for leading her through. I teased her deliberately. She shook her head, stopping to look at me. The sunset's glow gilded her face with soft warmth, her eyes serious. She thanked me for protecting her when she was scared. Her gaze made me shy. I scratched my head, saying it was nothing. She offered to treat me to dinner as thanks. I agreed eagerly, never one to pass up a free meal. She seemed to have planned it, leading me through twists and turns into an alley. Deep in the alley was a modest barbecue shop, small but bustling, full of lively charm. I was surprised, saying this was it. I thought a goddess like her would take me to a fancy Western restaurant. She smiled, saying this was the place. Her eyes curved into crescents. Don't judge the shop by its size. The taste was unbeatable. She said she'd sneak here after exams in high school, so this was her secret spot. She was willing to share it with me. A warm current surged in my heart, like I'd gotten a step closer to her. The barbecue shop's owner, a hearty middle-aged man, was clearly familiar with Ubaiwe. He greeted her warmly, asking why she had time today, and if she brought a classmate. Ubaiwe smiled, introducing me as her classmate Shen Nian, then whispered to me that he was her father's comrade, Uncle Wang. I politely greeted Uncle Wang. He sized me up, giving a knowing smile, calling me a fine young man, and asking if I was Ubaiwe's boyfriend. Her face turned bright red. She told Uncle Wang not to talk nonsense. We were just classmates. She pushed me to a seat and ran to grab two sodas from the cooler. I watched her flustered back, my heart secretly delighted. Uncle Wang was a great wingman. Soon the skewers arrived. Juicy sizzling lamb, crispy golden chicken wings, and my favorite grilled leeks. The aroma was irresistible. I dug in eagerly. Ubaiwe placed a soda in front of me, saying to try it. It was homemade, not sold elsewhere. I took a sip, sweet and tart with a fruity freshness. Truly delicious. We ate and chatted about the exams, future colleges, our hobbies and interests. I realized without her school beauty or top student aura, Ubaiwe was just an ordinary girl. She loved funny variety shows, laughing until she doubled over. She complained about the school cafeteria's bad food and ugly uniforms. She'd fret over unsolved math problems. She wasn't an untouchable fairy. She had her own joys and frustrations. This felt magical, like I was seeing a more real, more vibrant Ubaiwe. When we'd nearly finished eating, Ubaiwe put down her skewer and looked at me, seriously asking which university I planned to apply to. I paused, saying I hadn't decided. Probably a university locally. A university was a solid 985. Close to home, my parents wanted me there. She nodded thoughtfully. I asked her what about her. She hesitated, before saying she might go to Beijing. Beijing? My heart sank, that was so far away. She liked the vibe there. I suddenly lost my appetite, thinking that after school started we'd be one in the south, one in the north, over 1,000 kilometers apart. My heart felt heavy. Would we rarely see each other? I'd just gotten a bit closer to her. Would distance cut it short? She asked why I stopped eating. I forced a smile, saying I was full. The mood grew heavy. Ubaiwe seemed to sense my change. She bit her lip, like she wanted to say something, but held back. After dinner, we walked home in silence. The summer night breeze carried a coolness. Streetlights stretched our shadows long. At a crossroad, we'd part ways. She pointed to her nearby apartment complex, saying she was home. I nodded, saying I'd head off. She took 2 steps, then stopped, turning back to look at me. The streetlight's glow sparkled like a galaxy in her eyes. She asked me to let her know when I applied to colleges, smiling at me. Then she ran into her complex. I stood there, watching her vanish into the dark, my heart a mix of emotions. What did her last words mean? Just a friendly classmate goodbye? Or did she feel a bit reluctant to? I didn't dare hope, afraid I was overthinking. On the day of college applications, the air was stifling, like a storm was brewing. I sat at my computer, staring at the dense list of schools and majors, my head spinning. My mom fanned me, urging me to choose a university close to home so she could cook for me. A university's computer science program was to pranked. I'd have no trouble finding a job. My father, sipping tea, said seriously that a man should aim high. I could try for top Beijing universities. I didn't hear a word. My mind was on Yu Baiwei's words. To tell her. When I applied, should I tell her? What would it change? Would she give up Beijing for me? Don't be foolish, Shen Nianan. I gave a self-mocking smile. After much hesitation, I opened Yu Baiwei's WeChat. I typed that I was applying to a university. I regretted it the moment I sent it, feeling like a prisoner awaiting judgment. After a long wait, so long I thought she wouldn't reply, my phone buzzed. Yu Baiwei sent a single O. It felt like cold water doused me. I'd overthought it. She didn't care where I applied. Disappointment flooded me. I was about to recklessly fill in a university's code when my phone buzzed again. It was Yu Baiwei. Yu Baiwei. She asked about the posts and telecommunications university near a university. I froze. The university by a university. That was B University, a solid 211 school with a top communications engineering program. Its admission line wasn't low, but it was a tier below a university. Why was she asking? Before I could process, her next message came. Yu Baiwei said she'd checked. Her score was enough for B University's top program. My heart skipped a beat. I typed with trembling hands asking if she wasn't going to Beijing. Yu Baiwei asked what was so great about Beijing. The air was bad, too crowded, and she got airsick. Yu Baiwei added, most importantly, she sent an ellipsis, piquing my curiosity. I stared at the screen, forgetting to breathe. After a full minute, she sent the rest. Yu Baiwei. Our bet wasn't fully settled. I was confused. What did she mean? Wasn't it over? Yu Baiwei said, who told me that? My 3-point lead meant a kiss, but I'd forgotten an extra condition. Extra condition. I racked my brain. There was something like that. I'd been too smug then. My mind raced recalling our bet. The terms were set in the heat of the moment. Her voice echoed in my memory. If I scored higher even by a point, she'd follow through on her promises. But there was more. A clause about what happened if I won by more. My pulse quickened. What had we agreed on? I scrolled back through our chat, finding the moment where she'd laid out the stakes. My eyes widened. If I beat her by 4 points or more, she'd be under my command for the summer. My score was 711. Her 708. 3 points wasn't enough, but the memory sparked. I jokingly asked about 4 points, and she'd agreed almost recklessly. My heart pounded as I typed. You mean the 4-point rule? Yu Baiwei sent a sly emoji. I asked her what would happen if I scored 4 points higher. She replied that for the summer she'd be under my command. I cursed myself for forgetting that detail. I thought I was at least 7 points ahead, so I hadn't paid much attention to it. But in the end, I only beat her by 3 points, so that clause shouldn't apply. I pointed out that I only outscored her by 3 points. Yu Baiwei agreed, but she asked if I'd forgotten her demands. I echoed her demands. Yu Baiwei reminded me that if she won, she'd make me do 3 things. I countered that she'd lost. Yu Baiwei acknowledged her loss, but she said she now wanted to use those 3 demands on me. I was utterly baffled. What kind of divine logic was this? The loser making demands of the winner. Yu Baiwei declared her first demand was for me to attend a university. Her second demand was that I accompany her to fulfill the remaining 2 demands. Yu Baiwei kept her third demand a secret. I stared at the lines of text on my screen, feeling my brain was about to fry. This girl played by no rules. Before I could process this flood of information, my father leaned over asking who I was chatting with. So engrossed. Had I finished applying? I jumped startled, quickly flipping my phone face down saying it'd be done soon. I took a deep breath, looking back at the computer screen. A university and B University were just across the street from each other. My lips curled into an uncontrollable grin. I grabbed the mouse, and without hesitation entered a university's code as my first choice. Then I picked up my phone and sent you byway towards deal done. Since confirming our universities, my relationship with you byway entered a peculiar phase. We weren't quite a couple, as neither had said it outright, but more than just friends. We felt closer than that. She started giving me orders, like messaging me out of the blue Shen Neonin, demanding I get her a mango pomelo sago from the milk tea shop downstairs. Within 10 minutes, I'd rush down to buy it. Or she'd say her mom made too much chicken soup. They couldn't finish it, and I should come help. I'd find an excuse to slip over to her place for dinner. Her parents were warm to me, probably because you byway had prepped them. Her mom always beamed when she saw me, piling food onto my plate, treating me like her own son. Her father was more serious, had challenged me to chess, while subtly testing my character and smarts. I put in every effort to act like the model student. These days of being enslaved didn't feel like a burden. I relished them because this was a unique privilege you byway gave me. Halfway through the summer, you byway finally made her second demand. She asked me to go with her to a concert. It was her favorite band, performing in our city. Tickets were hard to get. She entrusted me with the tough task. I rallied all my friends and family, set a dozen alarms, and clicked frantically when tickets went on sale. After countless lags and queue ahead messages, I snagged 2 decent grandstand seats. When I sent you byway the screenshot, she replied with a good job kid emoji. I could picture her grinning happily on the other end. It was drizzling on the concert day. We shared an umbrella at the stadium entrance, in line with an excited crowd. The atmosphere was electric enough to evaporate the rain. You byway looked stunning, in a white dress, with a denim jacket, light makeup enhancing her glow under the flickering lights. We found our seats. The concert started soon after. When familiar music played, thousands waved glow sticks, singing loudly together. The feeling was electrifying. You byway was thrilled, singing and shouting with the crowd. Her face lit up with a radiant smile I'd never seen. During a classic love song, the atmosphere hit a peak. The lead singer roared to shout out love. Couples around us began hugging and kissing. The big screen flashed sweet audience moments. I stole a glance at you byway. She was looking at me. Our eyes met in the air. The surrounding noise faded away. All I could hear was my pounding heart. Her eyes sparkled vividly under the colorful lights, like they held a universe of stars. I felt I was drowning in her starry sea. She looked at me, her lips slowly curving into a smile. Then she leaned toward me. Amid the music's swell, the late summer breeze carried a humid warmth. The crowd singing nearly lifted the roof. But in that moment my world went silent. All I saw was you byway's face growing closer, and the light in her eyes, brighter than any star. My mind went blank, unable to think. What was she doing? Could it be? My heart raced ready to burst. As my thoughts spiraled, her soft lips brushed my cheek, a fleeting touch, like a dragonfly skimming water. But it sent a jolt through my entire body. I was petrified. She kissed Mesh actually kissed me. You byway pulled back, her cheeks red as ripe tomatoes, her ears burning. She wouldn't look at me, turning to the stage, pretending to focus on the music. But her trembling lashes and tightly pursed lips betrayed her inner turmoil. I cautiously touched the spot she'd kissed, still feeling the warmth and softness of her lips. A surge of indescribable joy welled up from my heart. I'd won this bet that started with the exam. Fairly and completely. I grinned like an idiot. You byway caught my goofy expression from the corner of her eye. Her face reddened further. She nudged me lightly with her elbow, asking why I was laughing, telling me to stop. Her voice tinged with playful scolding, soft and harmless, far from intimidating. I didn't hold back, laughing even harder. I leaned to her ear, whispering so only we could hear. I called her classmate you byway, saying she'd broken the rules. The bet didn't say the loser could kiss the winner. Her body stiffened. Then she retorted softly, her voice stubborn. Who said she lost? I raised an eyebrow. She said her third demand wasn't stated yet. She turned to look at me, a glint of mischief in her eyes. She formally announced her third demand. She paused deliberately, heightening my anticipation. I held my breath, waiting for her verdict. Her third demand, she said, Shen Nianen, each word clear, was for me to be her boyfriend and never back out for life. She finished, looking at me nervously, awaiting my answer. In that moment, all noise and lights became her backdrop. My eyes saw only her gaze filled with hope, tension, and bravery. I smiled a genuine smile. I reached out, grasping her hand tightly under her gaze. Her hand was soft, slightly cool, trembling lightly when I held it. But she didn't pull away. I raised our hands between us, fingers interlocked. Then looking into her eyes, I gave my solemn answer as you command. My queen. The concert ended. The crowd ebbed like a tide. You byway and I held hands, blending into the flow, walking slowly out. The rain had stopped. The air carried the fresh scent of grass. Neither of us spoke, just quietly savoring this sweetness that belonged to us. The warmth from our hands was real and comforting. I felt like I was walking on clouds. Each step light. At the plaza outside the stadium, the crowd thinned. You byway suddenly stopped. I asked what was wrong. She didn't speak, just tiptoed to fix my rain-dampened collar. Her touch gentle, her gaze focused. The streetlight's soft glow bathed her face, her long lashes like tiny brushes, sweeping my heart. My breath nearly stopped. She finished saying it was good, patting my shoulder with satisfaction. Looking at her face so close, I blurted out, you byway, that exam bet. Did she plan it all from the start? From the score estimates to the bet, to the bonus points. Every step felt like her carefully laid trap, and I was the willing rabbit, diving headfirst into it. You byway paused at my question, her beautiful eyes curved into crescents. Instead of answering, she teased me to guess. Her playful sly look reminded me of her trembling in my arms in the escape room. She wasn't always a harmless bunny. She was a cunning fox playing innocent. I didn't press further. The answer didn't matter anymore. What mattered was her by my side. We were officially a couple. I said, let's go. I'd walk her home, taking her hand. We kept walking. She suddenly called my name, Shen Nianen. I asked what my queen, smiling back. Her eyes sparkled. She said our bet wasn't fully settled. I was stunned, asking how it wasn't. She reminded me I beat her by 3 points, which meant a kiss. But at the concert, she kissed my cheek. She paused, her cheeks reddening again, saying that didn't count. By the rules, I should kiss her. Seeing her shy yet serious expression, my heart raced again. This girl was too good at this. Who could resist her? My throat felt dry. The plaza was nearly empty. Just us two, standing in the center. The distant streetlights cast a dim glow, stretching our shadows. Intertwined. You byway looked down, avoiding my gaze, her fingers nervously fidgeting with her clothes, like she awaited judgment. I took a deep breath, calming my near-exploding heart. Then holding her hand, I led her to the plaza's edge, under the shadows of outsmart the trees, where the light was dimmer. To shield her shyness, I called her name, my voice hoarse. She answered softly, head lowered further. I reached out, gently lifting her chin, forcing her to meet my eyes. Her face, even in the dim light, was red as if bleeding, her long lashes like startled butterflies, trembling endlessly. I said a bet must be honored. Looking into her eyes, I declared word by word. Now I'd claim my prize. With no more hesitation, I leaned down, slowly toward her soft pink lips. Her body stiffened briefly, but this time she didn't pull away. Instead, she clumsily closed her eyes. Her lips were softer than I'd imagined, sweeter, with the fresh scent of rain-soaked grass and a girl's unique fragrance. The kiss was light, gentle, as we were both inexperienced, exploring instinctively, but the emotions within were truer than any passionate embrace, burning with sincerity. After what felt like forever, we parted breathless, both our faces flushed. You byway leaned into my arms, panting, too shy to look up. I held her, feeling her warm body and racing heartbeat. My heart swelled with immense happiness. So this was what loving someone felt like. Sweet and tart, like drinking a whole bottle of the special soda she'd given me. Addictively intoxicating. She spoke muffledly from my arms, calling me unfair. I teased, asking how I was unfair. She struggled to explain, finally, giving my chest a light tap, more like a playful pout than a hit. I smiled, catching her hand and bringing it to my lip, kissing it gently, saying goodbye. I forgot to tell her something. What she asked during the exam score estimate. I hadn't just forgotten that physics question. She snapped her head up, looking at me in confusion. Seeing her adorable expression, I couldn't resist kissing her again, then whispered in her ear, the final secret. My Chinese essay went off topic. I thought I'd get half the points at best, but the grader must have been my long-lost kin, giving me near full sympathy points. So even without that physics question, I was destined to win. She was fated to fall into my hands. The end.